Thank you so much, Brenda. And Jessica, coming to you this time. And yeah, you've kind of touched on this in a variety of ways, and I think it was also touched on in that poll question, but it's a topic that generates a lot of debates, and certainly one that we have a lot of discussions around in channel mechanics. You know, the key differentiator in creating a successful MDF program is your ability to show results, right? And be able to show, be able to capture, first of all, the key metrics, and then be able to show what that return on investment was. So, you know, can you share some best practices, some recommendations based on your experience for, you know, showing that successful execution of an MDF program?
Sure. I think maybe what I'll start off with saying is, if there was one right way to do this that drove the most ROI, we would all be doing it the same way. So I think just comfort in yourself that there is no one way to do it. There is the way that works best for you and your partners and where you are in the maturity. And so I don't think I'm going to tell anyone anything they haven't heard before. So it's the operational piece that Jillian really touched on. It is, what is your operational foundation? Is it easy? Are you hitting those boxes? That should just run seamlessly. It's alignment to sales. If you are not driving towards the same outcomes, if you are having a marketing call in isolation with your partner, you've got to have one with the whole team together to hold and to make sure you're aligned and the things that you are doing are going to drive the outcomes, the collectively agreement. And I think this is the hardest part. You have to hold the partners and yourselves accountable. So we have this, that we thought this activity was going to produce X and Y results. We get those results back. They did not provide, you know, under or overachieved. Why did they over or underachieve, and understanding that, and what can we do differently? And I know we said a use or lose it mentality, but it's more that if the activity didn't drive the performance we anticipated, we're going to say no to doing it again. And that's super hard, right? Because I think one of the poll questions is your MDF 100% utilized? And that's the hard, if you're saying no because you're not getting the results, like it's these conflicting metrics sometimes, and you have to lead, I think, with what that is. And so we talk a lot about accountability and trying to hold ourselves accountable and the partners accountable, because I think that's what ultimately is going to drive the outcomes that you're looking for. And then I think I'm super blessed. My team is super creative, and so we're always testing things, because I don't know about you, but I always hear this works well in Latam, but we try to take it to the US, it doesn't land. And so I think constantly like testing and tweaking and sharing is really important, because also what worked last year might not work this year. I mean, it's just a very ever-changing market. And so I think always having what is that thing you're trying that's new and different can really actually turn it all around and really find something that's unique. Also, because right, like we're all competing against each other. If we are, like, what are the programs that we're offering that's going to make our partners choose us with their time? So I would be super curious to hear, Julia and Jillian, when best practices comes up, like what's top of mind for you? But those are the things that are most top of mind for me.
Yeah, oh, sorry,
go ahead, Jillian.
All right, so, you know, on top of that, I would say, you know, again, accountability key. It's important to also, again, with the partnership and that alignment, it's okay to come up with something that's unique and different, right? I mean, that's where, you know, the marketers get real excited. There's something new and the market conditions are changing. I think setting the expectation that we're kind of going into something that's a bit unknown. And so setting the expectation with ourselves, with the sales leadership team, so that they're aware this is something new, we're trying, so that you're setting it up for the right expectation of the result. And then analyzing the results of that. If you're gonna fail, as one of my prior mentors said, fail fast, right? It's okay. It's okay to try something, but make sure you had it all thought, aligned, and then analyzed. What happened? Where did it fail? And then you can decide at that point if it's worth repeatable, because you have clear visibility to what may have failed in that specific activity or what have you. So I think fail, but fail fast, to be creative, to get certain things done with the right partnerships is still okay, but analyze it and come back to the table and probably go back to the things that we know, again, that do work. So we can go back to the sales teams and say, hey, here's the standard of activity and events that we're doing and the right ROIs that we're seeing there.
I love that trial and error, room for error mentality, because that's so true. And when you're analyzing the results of these activities, not all activities are measured the same. So I think it is very important to be clear on what kind of results you're trying to drive, and in your proof of performance that you ask them to put in the claim, putting specific KPIs that are, customized to the activity type is very important. Yes, it adds, extra work to analyze this kind of stuff separately in the back end, but those are the only ways that you're going to know what's working, what's not, and be able to make those adjustments in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think there's learnings from that, right? If you can go and say, look, the top performing activities by our partners that drove the most leads, or whatever the measure is, whether it's demand gen or new logos, when you start to see those results, that becomes learning that you can bring back into your partners too, because not all partners are the same, right? Some have very sophisticated marketing, some have very small marketing resources, some are very consultative in terms of how they sell, some are more volume-based, right? You've got to be able to tailor for those different partners a different way they go to market, but then give them learnings in terms of how they can benefit from what others have tried and where there's been wins, right? Excellent. Well, some really good feedback there. Yeah, go, Julia.
Sorry, and having flexible tools that allow you to do that, right? So again, that visibility, coming back to channel mechanics, using a consistent platform to help you measure those results and get that more quickly, especially when you have a bigger investment, that you're doing something that's kind of out of the box and thought-provoking, getting quicker feedback and sharing that communication and alignment with the partners key.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it goes back to that speed point we made earlier, right? You want to keep the motivation up. So if there has been a result and it has been impactful, you want to be able to communicate that and keep the motivations up, and of course pay them quickly for that too. As Jillian said, a very important factor for many partners, right? Your opinion, or is your experience, are the key things that make an MDF program successful? So sorry to pick on you, Jillian, but